Hi everyone, and welcome to Pop Culture Spread. No, it's not Spider-Man, it's actually Rick. Myself and Jace have just literally come out of the cinemas, and we've popped into the studio to record our review on Spider-Man Homecoming. So we're going to talk about what we thought, and yeah, we'll go from there. So Jace, have you got any thoughts?
I do. I've definitely got some thoughts. I think today for our format, just to let the guys know, we'll do what we liked about Spider-Man, maybe some things we perhaps didn't like about Spider-Man, and then give you our overall impressions at the end, I reckon.
Definitely.
So yeah, just to lead it off, the hype is out there. Certainly at the moment, before we even went into the movie, Spider-Man has gotten huge buzz out there critically. I mean, at the moment, it's sitting 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is extremely high score.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, if you don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is, who are you? But for those who don't, it's an aggregator of movie reviews. So it averages them out and gives you a score on what all the critics think. So it's obviously very, very positive for Spider-Man at the moment. Over in America, making huge money already. It debuted on Friday night with $50 million opening. It's projected to do 120 over the weekend.
Massive. That is massive.
That is all me leading up to say this film does live up to the hype. They've gotten Spider-Man right. If I'm stumbling for words today, it's because I'm in shock how they tonally, Rick, got this film perfect.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They got the essence of Spider-Man and were able to project it in such a way that we weren't watching a 27-year-old Tobey Maguire.
That's right.
Or a late 20s Andrew Garfield. We were seeing a kid who looked age appropriate. I think I mentioned yesterday that he was 15. His character's 15, Tom Holland is 20, I believe, at this stage.
Yeah, he just turned 21
just turned 21, so happy 21st for whenever that is. Tom, likely to ever be watching this.
Yeah.
But either way, this film really is phenomenal. They've gotten the tone, like I said, perfect. It very much is a coming-of-age story done in the guise of an 80s teenage film, like a John Hughes film, like I also said in my last video. And because of that, there's a real positive energy throughout the entire film. So some of the things I really, really loved about, I got to say, the villain. This is the first time since Loki that, Rick, I think we've got a great villain here. Michael Keaton was just phenomenal as the Vulture. His motivations were clear. His performance was good. His character had meat on the bones. And like I said, Marvel's normally not about that, because as we know, they focus on their heroes, not normally their villains. But I got a big shout out Michael Keaton. He was phenomenal.
He was good.
Tom Holland, like I said, mate, he is Peter Parker now. I think he's definitely got his role down pat, and certainly has almost actually even improved from the little bit we saw him in Civil War. So, hero and villain, spot on. What else was great? Plot was easy to follow. Certainly, it's even though it was reliant on being part of the cinematic universe, it was still stood alone as an independent film, which was absolutely fantastic. Action scenes are top-notch. Performances are top-notch. It really is the best Spider-Man film I've actually ever seen. And I know that's a big call. We've just come out of the movie, and sometimes you get caught up in the emotion. But I know what I saw on screen, Rick. This was a fantastic film. For
me personally, I totally agree with everything that Jace has just said. I mean, if you're not a comic book fan, I mean, Spider-Man's been around for 60 odd years. So if you guys follow the comics and so forth, you know his history and so forth. Literally, when you go into that movie, I just felt that they literally just took everything out of that comic book and then brought it into that movie. It was just, Tom Holland, the way he was Spider-Man, the way he addressed his personal issues, and he was just like an adolescent teenager, and that's what was, like Jay said, it was the essence of Spider-Man. I guess with the villain side of things, the Vulture, I don't know much about it, but I guess it was easy to follow, and Keaton's performance was just amazing. You could just feel that he had that, anger and hatred towards, Peter Parker and his life and what he wanted to achieve. So, hands up to all of them. Bit of a love interest, which was good. They didn't go too much into the love interest, which was good. and a lot of the back history, which was fantastic as well. So we didn't drag onto that whole,
Uncle Ben
Uncle Ben,
storyline?
yeah. Discussed yesterday.
Gotta love Uncle Ben, mate, but you're toast, you're gone. We don't care no more, alright? We've moved on.
Thank fuck for that.
Yeah. But coming back to the villain, what you were saying about his hatred for Peter Parker, very much early on in the film, I would say, though, his hatred and his focus is against big business. And really his character is almost a post-2008 financial crisis kind of character, where he's been part of, successfully, everything's been taken from him, and now he's rebuilding, but obviously not in the best way possible. So I found it interesting that they used that as an inspiration, which was clearly something a lot of Americans have suffered over the last 10 years. But moving on from the villain too, Rick, I've got to talk about basically the ending was a bit unconventional. We're not going to give away massive spoilers, but we are touching into it. Really went in a different direction there. I thought it was going to go one way and it went another. What was your thoughts of the ending of the film?
Oh, the ending was, wow. Like we don't want to go too much into spoilers, but look, we'll have to mention one thing. Going into that end of the film, and then you're thinking, oh, geez, okay, this is the direction they're going to go, and then they just do a complete 360, which will make sense. I thought it made sense.
I think for you comic book fans, put it this way, I'll give you this hint. If you loved the Civil War comic book, and Spider-Man as a character in that comic book, you'll be satisfied at the end of this film.
Yeah, definitely. But, obviously there are going to be a couple more Spider-Man films leading up to it, so the direction they went, I think was great. I think that's perfect how they ended it. Just going on with, the relationship between Spider-Man and Tony Stark as his mentor, I guess, was really good.
Well, you know what? Before we go on with that, Rick, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're right.
I think we'll do another synopsis just so the rest of you guys get an understanding what the plot is.
Yeah.
All right. So, thrilled by his experience with the Avengers, Peter returns home, where he lives with his Aunt May. Under the watchful eye of a new mentor, Tony Stark, Peter tries to fall back into his normal daily routine. But however, he's distracted by the thoughts of proving himself to be more than just your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. But when the Vulture emerges as the new villain, everything that Peter holds most important will be threatened. And that was just a bit of a synopsis. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the relationship, as Joseph was just saying with the synopsis, the relationship that that I saw on screen between Tony and Spider-Man, I just thought was great. I thought they had that great chemistry, and it really felt like he was actually like an uncle towards Peter. So on that side was fantastic. Absolutely great. I loved Favreau as Happy. Fantastic.
He absolutely did a special moment.
There's a lot of little comic scenes and little jokes and so forth, but they weren't over the top jokes. They were just simple.
Well, the tone of the entire film was perfect, and the jokes did land. Yeah. I actually found myself smiling a lot through this movie as I'm watching it, which is usually a really good sign that I'm enjoying myself in the film. Yeah, definitely. Because of that energy, that tone, and the jokes that were landing.
Yeah, and we noticed as well, like a bit of a mixture in the cinema as well, and there's a lot of young kids as well with their families and so forth, and a lot of older people. So it's a good mixture for everyone to.
Shout out to the two noisy old buggers sitting in the front of us that didn't know when to shut up in a movie. You think they would have been singing enough movies how old they were.
That was the worst
experience.
Move on. Worst experience ever.
Yeah. But either way, the film was that great. It didn't matter what we had experienced in the theatre, because that movie just pops in a bad way. Yeah. Look, it's, like I said, for me, it's my favourite Spider-Man film. Yeah. For you?
For me, none of the other Spider-Man films exist. I think this is what they should have done from day dot. Marvel should have got involved from day dot. We know that Sony had the rights to Spider-Man, so Marvel couldn't. But this should have been the movie they should have released back in 2000. There should be no Tobey Maguire or Garfield. My opinion.
Yeah, well, but that's it. Those days are gone, and we've got now a Spider-Man that's going to clearly move forward with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. And will be a big part of that. We already know through the news that Spider-Man will help launch Phase 4, or whatever phase Marvel is calling their next 10 years of films. We do know it's going to go in a more cosmic direction,
Yeah.
and I do believe Peter Parker will be on the forefront of that. So to see that idea that maybe we'll have Spider-Man as part of like the galactic universe,
Yeah.
that fascinates me. And as we know, we've got Venom coming up. In the
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Spider-Man
yeah.
universe is going to be, there's going to be, Tom Hardy playing Venom.
Playing Venom. So,
So we've got a lot to look forward to in regards of Spider-Man, I think. I'd be very, very curious to see where he ends up as a character at the end of the next Avengers movie. Because we know a lot of contracts are up.
well, that's right. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are gone, and and that saddens me because you watched Robert Downey today. He was great as Tony Stark again, and to think that it's coming up that we're going to have an era where there's no Robert Downey as Tony Stark. Well, I'm a little bit sad about that.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
The future is safe when you've got Tom Holland. This type of casting that they're doing for their characters, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe in safe hands in regards to who they're casting.
Definitely. Yeah. No questions asked. I think they got the casting right with everyone. You know, I think it was great that they had, you know, Aunt May wasn't an old lady. You know what I mean? They've gone through those. They had two Aunt Mays which are old ladies. You know, Marissa Tomei. Yeah, great. I think that side of things. Happy was great. You know, Vulture was really good. Some of the other cast members, like some of the newer guys that are coming in, you know, some of his new friends that you'll notice, like his best mate.
Well, if you did notice with the villains too, with the Vulture, was also some of Spider-Man's great villains as well was in there, was the Tinkerer.
Yes.
Who was designing all the weapons, as well as the Shocker. So, you know,
so three villains.
And obviously they introduced a fourth villain too at the end of it as well.
Yes.
So, yeah, absolutely. I think we're in good stead, mate. I'm really, really excited. Now, some of the things I didn't like, Rick.
Yep.
I've got to mention them. Not a lot.
Get it?
Are a couple of things that kind of did bother me. They've changed one of the main characters. A really significant change.
Okay.
And we're exposed to who that character is at the end of the film, but I'm surprised they felt they needed to go that way with that character. So that was good. At one point in the movie, we get to a point where it's really all about Spider-Man and we're following Spider-Man adventures. And then the movie takes a right turn.
Yeah.
And it goes more into that teenage comedy, very John Hughes
Yeah.
type of plot.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic, don't get me wrong, but that jarring move did take me out of the movie briefly. I had to kind of readjust where everything was.
Yeah.
But, mate, I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, look.
Like, at the end of the day, this movie's a solid 9.5. Or how I'm going to do my ratings, and I haven't actually had a chance to talk to you about this, but I'm going to do my ratings based on Choc Tops.
Okay.
So out of 5 Choc Tops, I would eat 4.5 Choc Tops.
4.5?
Through this movie. It's a phenomenal Marvel film.
Is the top going to be 5 top chocks out of 5? Yeah.
You can have 5 out of 5 Choc Tops. That's my rating system,
Yeah.
Rick. You can go with what you want to do.
Yeah. Just following on that, I had nitpicking a few little things. There was it's minor, really minor, but you know there was a scene. There was a fight scene with Vulture and Spider-Man, and they're having their battles and so forth. And then you know he gets rid of the suit, Vulture's suit, and it flies off the plane and whatever, and it's gone. And then all of a sudden he's got the suit.
Yeah.
He was in the plane, and then now he's out of the plane. He's in the suit. Minor little thing, but overall fantastic movie. I love the movie. I'm gonna rate it not with Choc Tops, unfortunately. I'm gonna rate it with Spidey Webs. So my Spidey Webs, I'd say definitely 5 out of 5.
Holy
5 out of 5. I loved it.
That's huge,
I loved
mate.
it.
So you're basically giving it a perfect score?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a perfect
the
score.
The first review we do, you give it a perfect score.
On my side,
you really haven't left yourself a lot of room to move. But it's a hell of a movie.
I did. It is. Yeah.
It's a hell of a movie. It really is.
Yeah.
So look, whether you're into this shit, whether you're not into this shit, Spider-Man's a great movie for everybody. It's accessible for all. Go see the movie. Take your kids. Take your grandmother. Take the dog. It's definitely worth doing it.
Definitely.
Thanks for tuning into our review. We'll see you next time on Pop Culture Spread.
Just before we end that, sorry guys.
Holy shit, I didn't
just
promote.
Just before you go into the actual cinema and watch this movie, make sure that you guys subscribe. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr, and our new YouTube channel as well, which we launched yesterday. So make sure you guys subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.